All right, we're going to take a look at utilizing the ERS as an anchor system. So the evacuation and rigging strap primarily was first designed when we designed it in 2009, 2010, mainly as a casualty movement device that we could put somebody in and be able to throw them out a window or raise them up. Now, what we found ourselves doing was we're rigging a lot more off of it. So we wanted to make some adaptations and some improvements to it, and that's kind of this latest evolution. So primarily when you're rigging off the ERS, we're going to rig it in a basket hitch configuration. When we look at Tom Evans's data that's come out, we know that the basket hitch is not only as strong, but it's actually approximately 800 pounds stronger than normal Wrap 3 Pull 2. So when we look at this, the braking strength of this is primarily going to be whatever that braking strength is of the webbing when it's put into a basket hitch configuration anyways, minus what you have sewn in here, because that's what's taking that weight when we put it towards the end. When we start rigging it into a shelf, which we'll show you in a second, is where the strength of your bar tacks actually come into play when we want to rig it into a shelf to do a knot pass, or if we're just trying to tighten up the anchor itself. So when we look at this, we're using Tech Tape, which is about 500 pounds stronger on end-to-end pull test than you see your typical mil spec that kind of is signified by having the lines go down there. So this is our basket hitch configuration for the ERS. When we look at this, we want to think about this the same way as we did with our packaging, in that when we're looking at it, if we click our carabiners into anything black, that is going to be weight rated, which is what we want to do for our anchor. When we look at just the gray portion here, these are handles to do linear drags with people, just this handle here. Now this handle, because it has black in it, is actually weight rated for human loads. But this one right here, this is something that we can find ourselves maybe clicking into a personal tether or an edge restraint in, but this is not where we're going to click in to be able to do casualty movement. That is going to be in anywhere that's actually straight up black. There's our pocket right there, or at the end. So when we rig this up, we'll look at a couple configurations and how we do that. So here's our basket hitch. So there's nothing wrong if we're just doing a simple lower or a simple movement and clicking right into here and being able to utilize this in this basket hitch configuration. If we move up these legs, we'll find that we actually have a couple sewn pockets right in here, and these pockets are rated at 24 kilonewtons right here. So when we click into them, we can click into these with just a regular carabiner, and we'll kind of show you this here. We want to make sure that we click into both, and this is taking the place of a shelf. So in mountaineering, a lot of us know that we can tie our webbing around and do a basket hitch, and then we can tie a figure 8 or figure 9 into here, and then we have this kind of rigging shelf that we have up here. And this works really well. Now when we're weighting it down here and we're not utilizing the shelf, this may be a contingency, so if something goes wrong, we can offload our weight and do a piggyback or anything like this. We'll see that when that pulls, it kind of does this, which is no big deal, because as soon as we want to rig it, we can actually bring that into its proper configuration, and once it's weighted, it's going to be just as secure. But the other option that we started messing around with that seems to be working really well is this is actually in our new kit that's over here, our dynamic vertical system, the Phantom kit, is it's got a grid lock. And when we look at the Magnetron grid locks or anything with a captive eye, this actually keeps it righted the whole time. So if we keep this in here just for a contingency plan, or it's part of our rigging system, and we have this rigged up just like so, put that through the loop. What the grid locks allows us to do is when we open that gate up, it will go into the captive eye area, and that kind of keeps everything nice and tight for us. So even when we weight this down here, everything stays in its proper configuration. So when it comes time to weight up here, this will just drop down and we're looking pretty good. So this captive eye keeps everything nice and tight in there and keeps it locked in there. So what we're going to look at is those are the main rigging configurations of your ERS strap. As we said before, we're not going to weight into just the gray handle, although doing this as far as an edge restraint, it's not going to be taking an impact fall or anything like that, is fine to do. If you're operating that and you're really close to the edge, we can click our personal tether into that, and that just kind of keeps us locked into that anchor. But we can also just do the same thing right here for security. So that is the basic configuration of that. When we look at some of the changes that were on this new ERS also, we'll see that with the addition of those handles, we also have an addition of abrasion resistance that is across for utilizing that on a tree or an I-beam and things like this. So the gray actually protects a lot of the weight bearing portion, which is the black also. And on the handle, we also put a very abrasion resistance that takes a lot of the beef of it potentially going like this across the back of that tree.